Warwick has been on the rise in high-level tier lists recently, and some of the reason for this are two of his best moves, being his definitely reactable overhead, and his ambiguous, hard-to-punish demon flip. In this episode, I'll be going over how they work, and how to beat them. This is Knowledge is Power. By holding S1 and forward S1, Warwick enters this running animation. During this animation, he is completely projectile invulnerable. You can still hit him out of it with other buttons, but projectiles will go right through him until he does a follow-up, or during the startup frames of the run. By letting go of S1, he goes into one of his two follow-ups, which depends on which start you chose. He either does a headbutt, which slumps in the corner, or his overhead, which leaves you on the ground. You're also able to get these options immediately just by tapping S1 or forward S1. Let's go over how to beat them. The headbutt follow-up is a mid-attack that comes out in 16 frames. This is also his forward assist, so whenever his partner's out, be on the lookout for this fast assist, because if they tag to Warwick fast enough, you are able to combo off of it even without the corner. Due to its speed, I would typically not recommend directly challenging it with buttons. Instead, you can either parry or block it on reaction, or move away at the right distance. Both will typically let you get a punish at least slightly after the fact. Warwicks themselves never really use this button in neutral, only in combos. Instead, they'll use his regular S1, his overhead. Let's go over that one next. Warwick's overhead is a 24 frame startup attack with massive hitbox, auto-corrects to the correct side, and leads to a full combo. As I mentioned, Warwick has been on the rise at high level, and this is the main reason why. Now, some people will say that 24 frames is reactable, some will say it's not. In my opinion, during a block string, it's absolutely reactable. During neutral, when you have a lot more stuff to worry about, it is much harder, but mainly due to its size. It can also catch opponents pretty high in the air, and goes over a bunch of lows. So how do you counter it? During a block string, the main threat of the overhead is added to the fact that he has a long-reaching advancing low. Okay, so he has a 50-50, right? Well, no actually. When blocking against Warwick, his low comes out in 14 frames and is a true block string, while his overhead comes out in 24 frames and is not a true block string. This means that during the block string, you should be crouch blocking while specifically looking for the overhead. You could also implement something called fuzzy blocking, where you block low for the 14 frames and then block high for the rest, letting you essentially block both every time, but if you don't already know about stuff like this, I wouldn't worry about it. Both the low and the overhead are minus enough on block to be punishable by every character. Like I said though, the overhead also leaves a gap in his pressure, meaning that you can parry it, armor through it, or, since he's airborne, you can also anti-air it. However, like I said, in neutral, it is much harder to react to, since there are so many other factors at play, like his assists, or some of his big buttons like his medium. My best advice for dealing with this in neutral really depends on your character. You're also able to use the same options on block with fast enough reactions. None of these will work every single time, and the Warwick player can adapt to your defense, so stay on your toes. There's also a third option from his run. By pressing up during the run, Warwick is able to go into this flipping animation. He's also able to do this by tapping or holding down S1. Let's go over that one too. From this flip, he has a few follow-ups. He can either do a light dive, a medium strike, a heavy throw, or just nothing. He is able to do each of these buttons at nearly any time during the flip after the peak, making his timing a bit ambiguous. Before we dive into each of the buttons, there are a few things that I want to go over regarding the flip and its follow-ups that you should keep in mind during all of this. Number 1, none of his follow-ups are overheads. All of them are mids, so you can stand or crouch block the light and the medium. Number 2, during the flip, he is unable to block. So if you have a high enough anti-air, projectile, or just anything that can hit him at that height or distance, he can't do anything about it. Number 3, if the Warwick does a flip at a close enough distance, you're actually able to jump grab him out of all of the follow-ups before he can get them out. Whether he does a charge flip or not, whether it's on block or not. This right here is typically your best answer when he does a flip in block strings. The light follow-up puts you in 26 frames of block stun, and leaves with a Warwick typically anywhere from -2 to +4. This depends on how low to the ground he hits you. The lower the hit, the faster he recovers, and therefore the better it is for him. Your best defense at this distance is to try and anti-air or parry, or just move out of the way and make him live. All of which will lead to a pretty nice punish. At a close distance, this move will just not hit you. It doesn't autocorrect which way it goes, so he'll just dive away. A more recently discovered option against the light follow-up is actually just retreating guard. If you retreating guard soon enough in the block stun, the 21 frames of retreating guard will override the original 26 frames of block stun that the move normally puts you in, making it much more minus for the Warwick, no matter what height he hits you at. If you want more details about how retreating guard affects the block stun of certain moves, I highly recommend checking out this video by Evan Almighty that goes into much more detail about it. Link will be in the description. The medium follow-up puts you in 18 frames of block stun, and can be anywhere from -1 to +10 on block. In my opinion, unless he hits you while you're in the air and about to land, or at the tippy top of your head, just assume that he's plus enough for it to still be his turn. Thankfully, the best answers to the medium are the same as to the light. You can anti-air it, move out of the way, or of course, like I said before, jump grab him. You can try and parry it as well, but this one's a bit more risky, since to hit this move he has to be directly above you, meaning he can also choose the third option. The heavy follow-up is a grab, and thankfully this has the simplest answers. When Warwick goes for the grab, it can only hit you if you're on the ground, meaning you can jump and either hit or throw him out of the startup. Depending on your character, you can also try and anti-air him, but because of the way his hurt box is during the grab, it can sometimes be inconsistent and he can actually grab you out of your anti-air. So again, the best answer is typically just to jump grab him. From a much longer distance, and in stuff like neutral, be careful trying to throw out answers too early. Remember, Warwick is able to hit his buttons at any point after the peak of the flip, meaning he can use his medium early to try and bait out one of your options and then go in for a punish. Also, if he's facing the wall and charges his down S1, he can cling to the wall, where he can then press his light, medium, or heavy buttons again, or jump off the wall. This makes trying to anti-air or parry his options really challenging, especially since a lot of Warwicks like to use this as Oki when you're waking up. He can still be air grabbed, despite how jank it might look. What happens if he's in Bloodlust? Let's go over what changes when it comes to his moves, and how he can use them. In Bloodlust, his overhead S1 stays the exact same, so the frames and the answers are all the same. Here, instead of a headbutt, Warwick now has this advancing slash attack. It is frame 1 projectile available, and can cross up if at a close enough distance. Keep in mind, the Warwick has to be very close. He's also able to combo his S2 slashes into his forward S1 attack, both on hit and on block. So a lot of Warwicks will do some stuff like this. By choosing this move in a block string, it leaves a 4 to 8 frame gap, which is what allows it to even cross up in the first place, meaning that you can parry it, block it, which leaves him -7, or if you have a fast enough move, you can hit him out of it, or armor through it. Just remember that since he can cross to the other side, your moves still can miss if you don't time it correctly. Due to how few ways this can actually cross on block, I would focus on parrying or blocking this move instead of trying to beat it outright. In Bloodlust, the flip itself doesn't change, however, he has a few more ways that he can go into the flip, instead of just running and holding down S1. While in the air, Warwick can press up and go into the flip animation, giving him the same options as before. This means he can do it from jumping in neutral, an air attack only on block or on hit, and down S2, also only on block or on hit. All of these put together can lead to some really tricky situations on block, so in cases where you're getting overwhelmed, I would just recommend push blocking. It can really give you some breathing room. Alright, let's do a quick review on the stuff that he can do and how you beat it. For the overhead, parry, block, and anti-air hit on the block string, and focus on movement in neutral, both with and without Bloodlust. For the headbutt, no Warwick uses this on block or in neutral, so I wouldn't worry about it, but when he does have Bloodlust, watch for some of the strings that I showed before that leave him close enough to cross up to try and block or parry it. For his flip, you can parry or anti-air the light and the medium, and jump for the heavy. But again, I recommend just jump grabbing all three. Always remember the ways that he can cancel into this in Bloodlust, and you'll be set. Finally, as always, keep in mind what assists the Warwick himself has available, as he can use these to make unsafe moves more safe, fill gaps in block strings, and overall cover any other weaknesses that he might have. I can't go over all of them here, so hop in the lab and test out how your character might play with or against Warwick and his assists. I hope you enjoyed the video. Let me know in the comments what questions you have or things that I might have missed. Chances are I'm going to wait until after the January patch to put out another video, just in case there's a lot of changes for characters. Some things that I had in mind were Yasuo's stance, Echo's rewind, corner pressure against Ari and Alawi's tentacles, and just overall handshake tag. Let me know, and like and subscribe while you're down there. Thanks for watching.